everyone, welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie, and if you are new here, hey and welcome. I hope you'll consider subscribing for lots more diamond painting content. And if you are back, welcome back. Today I am here with my weekly WIP and Chat, and if you're not sure what that stands for, if you're new, WIP stands for work in progress. In this case, my WIP is a diamond painting, and I'm going to be working on it while I just sit and chat with you guys a bit. So feel free to work on, a project alongside me if you like, or I'm happy to keep you company if you're, getting chores done or out and about, whatever works for you. I just always enjoy sitting down with you for a little bit on Monday mornings and catching up on the week. So let me tell you a little bit about what I'm going to be working on and with today. I am back to my cross-stitch conversion project, or one of them, I should say. And cross-stitch conversion project is where at least, in this case, referring to diamond painting, is where I'm taking an actual cross-stitch chart and turning it into a diamond painting on a blank canvas, including reading a chart like I have here on my tablet, my Fire tablet with the Pattern Keeper app. And I have my diamonds all over here and everything. But yeah, the canvas is blank. It's not like a traditional diamond painting where there are symbols printed on the canvas. It's just a little bit more of a mental challenge, but one that I really enjoy. The chart that I'm working on is by Amanda Manzano and is of Loki. It's one of her panel style pieces and is licensed to Creatively Stitching on Etsy. I'll have links to all the shops that I'm about to mention to you below, including Creatively Stitching. But this is the artwork, the kind of rendering of it. And I just finished, I started at the bottom and I've been working my way up, and I just finished the rows with his eyes, which you can kind of see here a bit. I'm kind of getting into more of this next couple of rows. Is going to be a lot of, I think, yellows and browns and golds with that helmet. So yeah, we'll be getting into that. I did get the diamonds and the canvas from Jaded Gem Shop, and I actually also purchased Jaded Gem Shop's Kit Up service, which is an additional service that they do offer that you can pay for. And so she kitted up my diamonds into, you had your choice of some different storage containers. These are, I think they're called just the 1x1 containers. And so I had like 4 packs of these, but yeah, so I went with that, and that was nice because then I didn't have to worry about kitting up the diamonds. Once they got here, they were just ready to go. As far as my accessories go today, I'm going to be using this pen from Enabler's Outpost, which was part of a custom order I placed a little while back, and I absolutely love it. Love it. I haven't used it yet, and I'm excited to. The wax I'll be using, this is Not Your Mama's Mud in the scent Feelin' Peachy Cream. Oops. Of course, I dropped it. I'll tell you what, you guys, this video has been, there we go, so many false starts. It's like, I feel like the world is telling me not to film this WIP and Chat tonight, but I'm bound and determined to push through. Anyway, so I'll be using that in my single placer. It's from the Etsy shop Whimsical Daisies. And then I'm going to be using Pity Putty in the scent Mexican Hot Chocolate. This was one of the scents for Hispanic Heritage Month, but I'll be using this in my multi-placer. The tray is from Munimade and is actually from Summer with the Masters 2022 when she sponsored the event. And then the minder, this, I don't remember where this one was from. I'm pretty sure this one was a gift. Yeah, this one was a gift, and I don't remember. It was originally an enamel pin, and the person turned it into a minder for me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I'm going to be using some release paper, which you'll see in a minute. But first I need to prep my next 2 rows. With the Sharpie, I'll kind of talk you through what I'm doing as we go through it here. So one of the ways that I make this chart a little bit easier to read is that I will go ahead and darken the 10 by 10 grid lines. And if you're looking at this, you might kind of faintly see in frame. Here, let me peel back the plastic cover. That'll make this easier to demo. But you might see that there are slightly darkened lines. They're especially visible in the horizontal. But what I'm going to do to make this even easier is I'm just going to lightly go over these with a Sharpie to help darken those lines, because I really use these lines as a point of reference on the chart, and the chart itself has these darkened lines that kind of make a 10 by 10 square grid. And so it really helps me a ton. I've been working on this project 2 rows at a time. I've talked about kind of my learnings from working on this project in, WIP and Chats, where I've pulled this out and worked on it alongside you guys. And also, I did a progress check-in video that was dedicated just to talking about this project and the things that I've learned that I feel like are really different from past conversion projects I've worked on. And so feel free to go and take a look if you're kind of like, oh, I wonder what Katie has to say about this. And if you're, thinking of tackling a project like this and maybe you just want to hear some of my tips and tricks. I still feel like I'm pretty new to this concept, but I'm becoming, increasingly familiar with it. And so I just am sharing my learnings as I go along. This kit, the drills do sit closely enough together that I'm not seeing these dark lines even around like the light drills. But yeah, these are just covered up completely by the square drills. They're not very straight lines. I'm have a tiny bit of an awkward angle with the camera set up, and I'm just kind of like, well, they don't have to be perfectly straight. I just need some sort of point of reference. That's all I need. They can be messy as long as they're just roughly in the right place. Okay, so then I've got that kind of gridded off. And then what I do is I grab release paper. This is from Crafts with Crashly. And I think in maybe the smallest size they have available. I'll show you in just a sec. But I kind of fold the plastic down along the top line. And then I'm going to pop these release papers down. At least until, I start putting diamonds down in these respective sections. This is just going to help me avoid getting my hand in the glue. Okay, and we're going to start over here in this set of 2 squares, okay? Okay, let me grab my tablet and my tools. I got my drills ready. The end is in sight on this kit, you guys. I'm getting really excited. I am at, let me see. My tablet tells me, okay, oh, well, except if I drop it. I'm telling you what, I don't know what what is in the air. Is Mercury in the microwave again? Like, oh my gosh. I said it wrong on purpose because it's funny. It's a joke. Okay, so I'm at 74.54% completion, and I'm, a set of 2 of these rows is a few percent complete at least. So it's moving along. I'm almost, 3/4 of the way done. It's going well. So I'm going to set up my tablet up here. I'm kind of on purpose leaving it mostly out of frame because, in case you didn't know, you really shouldn't show, especially not like a whole cross-stitch chart, because that is like copywritten material. And when you purchase the chart for yourself, you're just purchasing the rights for yourself as well. So you shouldn't be showing them, publicly. I don't actually need a minder for this particular kit, but it's fun to have one out to keep company anyway. Okay, let me clear this out. I dropped these tweezers on the floor earlier today because, like I said, something's going on today. I don't know what it is. And the ends of them just got like really bent, and so I'm gonna replace them soon. Goodness knows I have enough toolkits to easily replace them. But I'm using, by the way, this is the Skinny 12 placer, one of the new metal multi-placers from Diamond Art Club. And they really are basically all that I'm going to use at this point because I love how narrow they are. It makes it really easy to place more precisely, and they're just an absolute dream to work with. I love, 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 love them. And they go up to a 12 is the biggest placer they have right now. And even if they did add, I feel so bad to like completely mess up this adorable paw print, but here we go. Even if they did add a bigger size as an option, I feel like, anywhere in that 10 to 12 range really is my personal sort of like favorite multi-placer range. So I don't even know if I would use it as much even if they offered one that was bigger, but I don't know. I even find myself placing, like doing a lot of single placing or placing just 2 or 3 diamonds at a time, even with, stink. I just pulled a bunch of that out. Oh my gosh, I am a mess. Okay. I even find myself just placing a couple of diamonds at a time with even a 12 placer because I'm lazy. I don't want to flip my pen around. Okay. We'll see if that's good enough there. That smells so good. That smells so good. It's like hot chocolate with just a tiny, tiny bit of a kick. Love it. Okay, let me load up my single placer. But hi, hello, and welcome. How are you today? I hope that your week is off to a wonderful start and that you had a fabulous weekend. I wasn't feeling like the universe was out to get me or like there was anything weird going on with my day until I tried to sit down and start this WIP and Chat. Well, for one, I just kept there were like weird things that kept happening. So for one, it was like Micah wasn't really settling down for sleep, which isn't like that unusual really. But then my neighbors 2 doors down, like they were having a big party tonight, which is fine, but it was so loud that I could hear it really clearly even through my closed doors. And I'm also kind of like, not to be that person, but it's a Sunday night and it's like going on, like it's 9:30. Like, do you guys not have work and stuff in the morning? I don't know. They moved in kind of recently and I'm just like, oh, okay. So this is the kind of neighbors that we're going to have. That's fine. But that's the like grumpy old man in me, honestly. And then I started filming and then one of my cats started acting funny and acting like she was sniffing around, like she was near the litter box, but not that close to it. She was kind of sniffing around. I was like, you're not about to try to go outside the litter box, are you? Because that's not a thing that we do. So I was going to like check on her and feed them. And then I had a weird issue with my mic. So I don't know, you guys, hopefully that doesn't mean that this is going to be like a cursed WIP and Chat or like a funky one. But anyway, like I said, I hope that you had a really nice weekend. It was relatively low key for me. I did get a lot done kind of around home. But one of the things I was really excited about for this weekend was I did get back to this project. I finished up the kit Becoming by Diamond Art Studio UK, the one that I was talking with you guys about and working on with you in last week's WIP and Chat. That one is done. I actually filmed the post review last night and that will probably go up sometime this week. I'm excited to share that with you guys. And then I also finished Dragon Spirit by Margaret Morales from Diamond Art Club. And so that's done. I haven't filmed a post review of it yet, but I finished that on Friday or yesterday. I don't remember. I have a really bad memory. Like documented, tested, all this kind of stuff. It's funny. But yeah, no, I just finished that one as well. And so I'm actually very, very delighted because that means that I'm really officially back down to one WIP, and that is this one, this cross stitch conversion. And I'm so happy. It's so nice. Let me select these. Okay, we got those done. Move over. And I was afraid that it was going to be hard to kind of get back in the swing of doing this project, but no, it was really easy to kind of get back into. When I work on these sections, like I said, I do kind of 2 rows of 10 squares high at a time. And with this particular kit, because it's a Mandy Manzano artwork, I really enjoy going through and doing all the black outlining first all the way across and then coming back in and filling in with the colors around it. I feel like that works really well and makes it a lot easier to kind of count off and make sure I'm placing the right drills in the right places and whatnot. So yeah, it's been fun to be back to this one, and the just sort of the mental feeling of only having one WIP is really wonderful. And I know I've been really over dramatic about this in my recent videos, my recent WIP and Chats, but no, genuinely, like this is why. It's because I do notice kind of a difference. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think I might finish this sometime in the next week, I hope. And then you guys, you know what that means? It means I'm probably, yes, going to have time to do a holiday or winter kit of some sort. And I'm really happy about that too. I'm not exactly sure what I'll end up working on. I have it kind of narrowed down to, like a half dozen kits. So I've got to obviously narrow it down further from there somehow. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then I'll, get started on one of those kits, and that'll be nice. And I'm going to try to just kind of time it out so that I'm ending the year, New Year's Eve, working on and finishing a kit. So that's kind of what I have in my head. If I can somehow magically time it out that way, that's my goal. I am starting to think ahead to a year in review video, which I've done one for the past few years, and it's always really fun to pull out those kits and kind of go on that little journey together of revisiting them. But I have, because of various like projects and videos I've done and some rearranging of things, I have kits just kind of stashed in a variety of different places. And so like finished kits. So I'm gonna have to go back and sort of start gathering them up into one place. I am considering changing up how I store my completed kits now that I'm at a place where I do have a lot of finished kits, like over 140 now. Yeah, it has to be over 140. Coming up on 150. I have to say that for me, at least, the portfolio system is no longer actually really viable. And I don't know if it's completely practical, just given some of my space restrictions. So I'll explain. I have previously stored kits in portfolios, like flat under beds and stuff, but I am running out of space to even do that much. And I had also thought that I had just found this sort of magic solution when I did like a ton of research and discovered the Baroque portfolio quite a while back. And I shared that on my channel at one point. I was like, this is going to be it. This is going to be the perfect solution. I'll be able to fit most of my large diamond paintings in it and display them this way and be able to enjoy them that way. But what I really didn't take into account was how much, how incredibly heavy that was going to get once you got more than a handful of diamond paintings in it. And it's like, I don't even have a bed that I can store that under flat and just like pull it out flat and open it. It's unfortunately, I think that it is impractical. So what I am now considering doing is storing my canvases rolled up and in a tote, basically. My finished canvases rolled up in a tote and like put them in plastic sleeves and group them according to what month I finished them. And I can label them that way and then label the totes that way. And then I can store them in my garage and more easily access them instead of just having everything stored flat in portfolios and it being like just this really heavy thing that then it's like a huge pain to kind of dig through and find what I'm trying to look for. Honestly, yes, the totes are going to be really heavy too, but they're designed to be able to like lift and move. And if things are just labeled, then it's going to be really easy to sort of pinpoint exactly what I'm looking for. So that's roughly what I have in my head as how I maybe want to switch to storing my finished canvases, but I'm not even 100% sold on that. We're struggling right now with the amount of like space that we have and just the amount of stuff that I have accumulated at this point that's related to diamond painting. And my channel, it's like I'm going on, early next year, it's going to be 4 years that I'll have been doing this craft. And it's been over 3 years since I started my channel and everything that comes with that. And yeah, I try to destash and offload things, but there's a lot that I don't want to get rid of. Like I actually genuinely want to keep for what I feel like are legitimate reasons. So we're looking at even potentially like getting a storage unit. I love the idea of, I don't love this idea. I love the idea of having more space. I don't love the idea of moving, and I don't know that that is really going to be a feasible option for us at this point either. I just don't think that would be smart, honestly, because that, I don't want to start incurring more cost. That's like, I don't know. I don't want this to turn into that sort of thing, I guess. I feel like that would add almost some pressure. I don't know. So I'm just kind of going, okay, so if this is the reality of like the space that we have, the circumstances that we have, what can we control? Like, how can we make this more doable and work with the space that we have? So that's what's been definitely on my mind. But yeah, so all that to say, I do need to somehow still though go through and dig out all of the finished, all the canvases that I finished this year. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that I can show them to you guys. I'll have I finished 40. I think this will be 41, and hopefully I'll finish a 42nd one. And I think I'll have 42 finishes this year. And was that how many I had last year? That might be the same number that I had last year. I don't remember. I'll have to go back and look, but not too shabby. I don't think. Anyway, so it has, like I said, it's been good to sort of be back down to one WIP and to feel like I'm finally sort of coming out of the crazy haze of Black Friday and Cyber Monday week. I did start to feel kind of what I was expecting, which is a little bit of like an emotional drop a bit, kind of like a letdown of like, okay, now my brain is realizing that like we don't have to run on adrenaline, and I get to take a little bit of a breather with my videos, and there's not this sense of like urgency and, oh my gosh, we're just go. And it's really fun like while it's going on, but then there's definitely a little bit of a crash after. And I realized this past week that I'm like, oh, it's starting to happen, where I went to sit down and film a couple of videos actually last night, and I went, oh, I don't know that I feel like doing this. I don't know that I really want to do this. And so I don't know, maybe I'll take a little breather maybe between Christmas and New Year's, or I don't know. I didn't at all feel that way when I went to sit down and film this video. This is very low key because it feels like, well, I'm going to be sitting down and diamond painting anyway. Why not talk to you guys for an hour? This isn't stressful or any sort of thing to me. But yeah, so, I'm always a huge advocate of being in tune with yourself and recognizing like when you need breaks and paying attention to what like your body and your mind need. So trying to continue to follow that advice for myself too. I did have fun though. I did have fun with that Diamond Dots Masterclass unboxing that went up earlier this week. And I'm telling you what, you guys cracked me up. Like, just the completely overwhelmingly negative response in the comments was like, I was not at all upset. I thought it was like really, it was funny just to see, in a way, to see that like, oh, no. 98% of people are saying, what the heck is this price point? Like, this is not at all worth like what they're charging for this. And like some people got like really, really big in their feelings about it. I was a little like, oh, okay. Well, that's fine that you feel like really strongly about it. And it's really easy for me to just laugh about it because none of it was directed at me. None of it was like, how dare you do this unboxing? It was just like, how dare Diamond Dots charge so much for this product and market it as this thing when it's like, what are you doing? Like, no. So I found that kind of entertaining. And so much so that it was like spilling over into other brands' Facebook groups. And I was a little bit like, okay. If it's a brand specific Facebook group, like, don't bring it into there, please. Cause that's not the space for it. And I don't want to be like, oh, this is because Katie and Lindsay did one too this past week too. This is because they did this video. But yeah, I just was like, wow, people have such big feelings about this. It's spilling out all over the place. But yeah, I do actually like, I actually really do like that artwork. And I do think that I want to try to work on it at some point, maybe next year. I'm not at all going to try to start it this year because I think I would cry if I had to start another huge diamond painting right now. And that painting is huge. But I'm like, no, I do want to work on this and kind of see how it works up. I'm also really intrigued by some of the other kits in that line that have the mini dots. I do think that is kind of interesting, especially given that like diamond painting tools as they currently exist are not at all designed for the like micro drills that they have that are like 2 millimeters wide, which is even small, like quite a bit smaller than square drills. So like, yeah, I'm curious about it, but I'm also like, is this going to be difficult to work with my tools to make this happen? But I guess at least for that part, trying out a new kind of diamond, new size of diamond and stuff. Sure. Good for you, Diamond Dots. Good for you. Okay, next, let me shake this up. But yeah, that was, I don't know what I was expecting, but entertainment. I will take some entertainment. I'm curious how many people though might have like gone in and seen those comments and been like, well, I do like it and I want to buy one for myself, but I'm certainly not going to say as much in the comments because holy cow. But thank you guys for watching and leaving comments on that video. Like that's always really, it's really nice to see. It's nice to see that at least people are, enjoying the videos and finding it helpful. Like that really is the goal of videos like that, is to go, okay, let me spend my money so that I can help show you like whether or not this is a place that you decide that you want to spend yours. So in that case, in that sense, I was really happy to that video and to see so many people, so many of you guys taking the time to leave a comment and share your thoughts. But it's fun. It's fun when there's something new out there to try. It feels like a lot of times it's a lot of the same sorts of things, and that's completely fine. Like, I actually am not always a huge fan of change, but sometimes it is nice to be like, okay, here's something that's really just different and new. Counting. Okay. I've had some people go, how in the world do you work on a cross-stitch conversion while you're filming? And I don't know. The first couple of times I did it, it was a lot harder, but maybe it's because the black outlining is a little bit simpler and easier to get into a groove of. I don't know. It works for my brain, I suppose. We're about halfway through that row here. So what else has been going on besides diamond painting things? So lots of diamond painting things, of course. This past week was the week of doctor's appointments for me. It felt like a few different doctor's appointments. It was one of those things where it was just like a lot of these appointments I had made like months in advance. And just for some reason, the first week of December was the week that there was availability. This is the portion of the WIP and Chat where I just don't even care about my own like HIPAA. I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm just going to tell you what's going on. So first, I had my first appointment with a psychiatrist, and it was kind of just like an intake appointment, and talked to her about just sort of, what I'm doing with my medication right now for like my anxiety and depression. And, I said, I feel like it's, it is working. I feel like I'm noticing a difference in a couple of different ways. She talked, asked a lot of in-depth questions about what I've been on before, like the effects that I've had. 'Cause she's trying to get a sense for the whole picture and, obviously, provide like care that's the right fit and whatnot. And so we're going to check in again in a few weeks and kind of, maybe go from there potentially. But it was good to kind of have that meeting with her and just sort of shift things over from just my primary doctor. Like we both had decided like, yeah, obviously I'm having a little bit of a hard time finding something that is going to work for me and like not give me, bad headaches and other side effects. So yeah, I mean, it was fine. And then I had my regular just sort of wellness checkup this week with my primary doctor, which I had a little bit of trepidation over because I knew that I was going to be having some routine lab work done. And there's always just sort of a little bit of concern in the back of my head, like, well, what if something sort of comes up? What if something is wrong that sort of shows up in the blood work? So I went to the lab to get the blood work done actually earlier in the week so that then she could have the results to go over with me in the actual appointment. And I'm going to talk just briefly about needles. If you're squeamish, feel free to skip ahead a little bit. I'm going to try not to go into detail. But long story short, I have never been an easy stick for having blood work done or having an IV put in. I don't know. It's just something with my veins, whatever. So I was already feeling kind of nervous going into the lab because I was like, is this going to be a day where it goes like easily or is it not going to go well? Unfortunately, it took 2 different lab techs and 3 pokes and some digging to get what they needed so they could actually get the blood that they needed. And I was just trying to remind myself to like breathe because I tend to like not want to breathe like when they're trying to get the poke and then I feel like I'm going to pass out. And just the feeling of it, just, I don't know, it sends my brain into a tailspin. I was like apologizing because they were like understaffed. And when the first guy, he was very, very, very nice, and he felt really bad. But after the second try, he couldn't get it. He's like, I'm sorry, like I'm gonna go get someone else, to do this since I'm having a tough time. I was like, okay, it's fine. I'm like trying to like catch my breath. I was like, I'm sorry, I know you guys are understaffed, and here I am like wasting two lab techs time. The second guy came in and got it like in one go. And was like, trying to make me feel better and stuff. He was like, are you breathing? I was like, yeah, no, I'm breathing. So, I always hate it. I always hate having it done. But yeah, no, I survived. It's fine. That's fine. I didn't pass out. It was like I had to be fasting. That was the other thing. And so it was like I had taken Micah to speech therapy and then to school, and then I went to the lab. And so I'd been up for a couple hours by the time I got to the lab, and I hadn't eaten anything, which I don't usually eat anything first thing in the morning. Like my stomach is not at all ready for food until a couple hours after I wake up. And so like that wasn't necessarily a big deal, but that meant that my blood sugar was, I don't know. I didn't have any food in my stomach. And so I feel like that made it more likely that I was going to pass out or be lightheaded. But it was fine. I actually got some of my results in before like the end of the day, and I was able to like look in my patient portal and see some of them. I was really relieved to see that some of the things I was most concerned about, like I didn't know if my thyroid might be having issues because I've been dealing with some fatigue and low energy lately, and like my hair, I've been shedding more hair than usual lately. And so I thought, oh shoot, like is something going on with my thyroid? No, that number was textbook, A1C was textbook. All the other things were great. But there was a set of numbers that all were like showing in the low range. And I go, of course, over to Dr. Google, and every single one of these things that I would, be like, what is, this thing? I don't even remember what they are now. What does it mean if this is low? And every single one of them was basically like, you're anemic. You're really anemic. You have an iron deficiency. You're anemic. And yeah, so no, then my doctor was like, so your anemia is worsening, because I think a couple of years ago when I had some lab work done, I had really mild anemia, and now it's like more severe. The good news is though, that like that could very well be explaining my fatigue and my low energy is if I'm anemic. And so we're going to start, I waited until I talked to her. I was like, obviously, Google is telling me like, oh, you start an iron supplement and try to eat foods that are more like iron rich and, folic acid, blah, 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 all these things. Of course, I'm like, well, Google's not a doctor. I'm going to talk to my doctor. And she basically said the same thing. She's like, yeah, like you want to start an iron supplement. And she said, you're not like in any kind of dangerous range or anything like that. She said, you may, notice a big difference, or, you might not. You know what, you guys, I see that Adam just got home from an evening out. So, okay, sorry. I just wanted to say hi to him. He was out this evening, at like a Christmas thing with friends. And anyway, so all this to say, it's nice to sort of get some answers for something like fatigue, and to have it be something that's pretty, like in the grand scheme of things, pretty minor and like easy to address. And we know what the cause of it is. And it's like, well, if you're a woman, like most women honestly are anemic, but like, I'm not going to go into details just because that's not something that's really, really terribly appropriate to talk about. But basically, yeah, no, it has to do with that. So I was like, we know what the cause is, and it's, it'll be okay. But yeah. So anyway, that's the, I don't care about sharing my medical information part of this WIP and Chat. Oh, no, never mind. So that was that. So yeah, that was kind of the week of doctor's appointments. And then we did also have, Micah had they call them friendly visits. Micah's my youngest. He is 5. He has some special needs. He's autistic and has a speech delay and has a tough time with things in like medical settings. And so one of the things that we're working on is, oh shoot, hold on a second. Okay. So 3, 2, 2. Okay. Let me start going up. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, dentist. The dentist offers what they call friendly visits, and they're free, and you can come in and do them as often as you would like to. And what it is you bring your kiddo in, and it's just sort of getting them comfortable with the space, getting comfortable with a dental hygienist being in the same room, and potentially like, practicing things like, okay, let's, getting them comfortable with the concept of the dentist like looking in their mouth and whatnot. It's working them up to being able to have a stress-free dentist appointment in general, like an exam and cleaning, and because that's something that we just have really struggled with Micah being comfortable doing. And so I love that they do these friendly visits. They completely sort of let the kids set the pace and the tone of things. And so like this appointment was just really about Micah being comfortable with the dental hygienist just getting like kind of coming close to his face and potentially like looking in his mouth a little bit, getting comfortable with sitting in the chair, laying back in the chair. And it made me so happy that we're able to go to this dentist with our insurance, because they just are so incredibly wonderful with kids with special needs. And I was so grateful that we were able to do this. And so we're going to do 1 or 2 more before his next scheduled dental cleaning. And maybe, by that point we'll work up to a little bit better. I don't know. I don't know how far we'll get with it, but I love that this is an option. It's a way to try to really help kids sort of overcome some of these difficult associations that they have, and make it just a really safe feeling space and not like something that's scary. So I loved that. I really, really loved that and was grateful for that. So we had that this past week. So yeah, it was an eventful week in that sense, I suppose. And I had a productive day yesterday, because I just sort of got bit by a productive bug, a cleaning bug, an organizing bug, and had a burst of energy. And I feel like sometimes when you have those and they're rare, you feel like you really need to take advantage of them. And I ended up going through my entire closet in terms of my clothes. I still need to like another day kind of go through and reorganize sort of the shelves and the shoes, but I went through everything that was on hangers, and I went through my whole dresser, all of my dresser drawers, and did a huge clean out. And I took 4 big trash bags of things to donate, and then a smaller trash bag of things to throw away. And I felt so much lighter. And Adam seemed to, I seemed to pass it on to him, because then today he went through, his closet and some of his drawers. And so then I went to the donation center this evening and dropped all those off, a whole trunk load of things. And yeah, I put an extra one there, didn't I? I think I did. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So yeah, that felt really, really good to get taken care of. It's just kind of, things here and there. If I feel like I'm up to doing some cleaning or organizing, I'm trying to really jump on that. But it's one of those things that, again, like I kind of mentioned last week, it makes me feel like, okay, maybe the meds that I'm on right now are helping and making a difference just sort of with my mental health and my depression and anxiety. So thank goodness, like between that and therapy, really. So yeah, that was a good feeling, good thing to be productive on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure I'm in the right spot. Okay. And I also, one of the other things I talked to my doctor about is I told her that, it's like, speaking of, meds working, I did tell her, I was like, the migraine med that I have right now, I said it maybe works half the time. And I just don't feel confident that it's going to take care of a migraine. And so she was like, okay, let's try something else. Let's try a different class of meds. And I was like, okay. So that too, just, I guess I'm in that phase of sort of doing things that are taking care of my mental and physical health, which is good. I encourage it. I encourage it if you guys are able to do it too. What else did we do? As far as the kiddos go, they both had a good week at school. Like I said, Micah had that good, like, friendly visit at the dentist. Connor had what seems like a really good week at school too. He is very much looking forward to Christmas break. We are maybe going to try to all go and see and meet Santa tomorrow. We will see kind of how that works out. I'm still on the fence on whether or not I want to take Micah. I know we're going to be waiting in line, and I'm just kind of wondering, like, I don't know how he would do. Like, do we want to do this? I would really love to have a Santa picture, but I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of day he has at school tomorrow and go from there, maybe. But yeah, I was actually having a conversation with Connor earlier today. And there was just, I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was like a moment where I thought, okay, this is a good chance for me to sort of explain to Connor. And I was telling him a little bit about, like, you know, how just this is something that Micah struggles with. It was related to speech, because Connor was trying to, like, talk to him about something. And I said, you know, Micah has what's called a speech delay. And that means that, you know, he's a little bit, you know, behind and doesn't, you know, talk or understand necessarily as much as other kids his age. And so it's like he's getting help for that. But, you know, sometimes he's going to have a hard time, or he might not understand, you know, what one of us is saying to him, or be able to express and communicate his feelings. And I kind of turn that into just talking about how you don't necessarily know what challenges someone is experiencing just by looking at them. And so it's important to be kind to other people, and to, you know, to know that, like, other people might not be exactly like you, and that they might have other kinds of, like, struggles. So I don't know. I was trying to have, like, a little bit of a learning moment with him, and also just sort of explain that to him. I feel like he's at an age where that's appropriate, and he seemed like he was really trying to be receptive and listen. And he was like, oh, okay. I was like, can we get McDonald's for dinner? I was like, okay, well, let's see how this is going. But yeah, so we had that. And then Connor had a good week, or Micah had a good week too, with, we haven't had, like, a struggle necessarily with dropping off at school, like, once we get to school, because we went through a little phase where that was a little bit of a tricky phase that he was in. And so he's been doing better with that, but a little bit sometimes a hard time getting out the door in the first place in the morning. But once he's out the door, oh, you guys, we're not really in frame, are we? Once he's out the door, he's usually fine. But yeah, so but once he used to have a struggle with even just, like, going in the gate, or when I would take him to school from speech therapy, sometimes there would be, like, a little bit of a tough transition, basically. But that seems like we've mostly moved past, and we are celebrating any successes. I feel like he's also moving maybe a little bit out of, just a tiny bit out of the, like, intense, like, screeching, like, every minute, basically, and a little bit more into, well, pinching is kind of his new sensory seeking. So we're trying to find healthy ways to redirect that, and help, you know, explain, like, this hurts when you do this. Like, he's pinching, like, our arms and our bellies and stuff, and so it's like, ouch, like, that hurts people. He'll get there. As far as other things that are going on, what I am reading and watching and listening to, I had to pause the video. Hold on a second. Let me check the time in my brain really quick. So I was that far in the first clip, and then I paused to say hi to Adam. Okay, this might be a little bit shorter WIP and Chat. I feel like I'm running out of things to talk about already. That's fine. Yeah, I'm, like, looking at my little notes, and I'm like, yeah, no, there just isn't that much to talk about, really. So as far as what I'm reading and watching and listening to, let me grab another color. Okay, yeah, let's do that one. 939. Lots of dark blues. Might not even look that different in camera, really. So reading, I don't know, you guys, as far as this little portion goes, I have still been in kind of a phase of, like, like, nothing is really, like, grabbing my attention as far as, like, what I'm wanting to read. And so I have actually not done a ton of reading this week. I had every intention of starting Iron Flame, which is the sequel to Fourth Wing. But I just didn't. I just wasn't feeling it, and so I wasn't going to push it. But I would like to read that soon. I hope that I will be in the mood to read that soon. I was talking with my friend Kate earlier this evening, actually, shortly before I started, and she was talking about like an author that, a book series that she loves, but it's an incomplete series, and the author hasn't. It's been like 13 years since the last one came out, and I was talking about how, but she still really loved the series anyway. And I was saying, yeah, I remember seeing this author's name actually come up in threads before, like in posts before. I'm in some different like book related Facebook groups, and I've seen people put up a post that's like, you know, what incomplete series are you still hoping, or, you know, book cliffhanger type situation are you still hoping might be finished someday? And I definitely recognized this this author's name, which of course now I'm completely blanking on it. Was it, oh my gosh, was it Rothfuss? I can't remember. Anyway, but I haven't read the books myself. But I was telling her, I was like, yeah, I'm still not over. There was a book that I had read by Robin McKinley, and I went back and looked just earlier when I was talking to Kate, and the book Pegasus was the name of it, and it came out in 2010. And I remembered sort of like picking it up and going, oh, this stuff, like reading the back and going, oh, this definitely looks like a book with a, you know, story and sort of vibe that I would enjoy. And I'm going along reading it, and it ends. It felt like it ended mid-sentence. Like it was a terrible cliffhanger, and it was like, I was so upset when I finished that book because I didn't think that it was at all marketed as like a part 1 of 2 or a series of any sort. I thought it was a standalone book, and I was so upset that it was like, what kind of ending is this? And what the heck? And there was, I remember at the time going and looking, and there were a lot of people that were really upset about it. It was kind of like, this isn't even like, even if a book is part of a series, like this is not how you end one of these. And it was kind of unusual for, like, Robin McKinley is a very well established like fantasy author. She's been around forever. But it's been 13 years and she hasn't written at all. I think that she had some really sad, like, major life circumstances. Like, I think her husband passed away, and I know she's, like, you know, quite a bit older at this point and struggles with technology. And so I just think, you know, I don't know that we're ever going to get that sequel and that closure. Every once in a while there'll be like an interview that pops up from her or something like that. But I just am kind of like, well, never going to get that closure. And, you know, I guess I sort of have mixed feelings in some ways about reading unfinished series, but yet here I am reading like books by Sarah J. Maas, and, you know, there's other books, you know, series that are sort of in progress, but they're kind of, I don't know, it's like the writers are actively writing, and it's still happening, but I don't know. Have you guys ever had that happen before, though, where you've been reading a series and it's like the series isn't complete and the author just kind of stops writing and it doesn't seem like it's ever going to come back? I know poor Game of Thrones fans are if there's any of you guys that happen to be listening, you guys are probably like, yes, us. I haven't read the Game of Thrones series. I am familiar with this sort of, like, it's almost feels like it's become a joke now that it's like George R.R. Martin is just, it seems like he's never going to finish that series, but my sympathies. I even feel that, like, if I'm reading fan fiction, I often won't click into a story to read, especially if it's really long, if it's not marked as complete. I totally get that for authors that it's really vital for them to sort of have the encouragement and engagement along the way, but I just have such a hard time with getting engaged and really invested in, is what it is. Invested in a story and in characters, and just like never really knowing if it's going to be finished, especially if it's fan fiction and it's something that, like, they're not getting paid to do this. They're just writing this on their own time. There's absolutely the only sort of incentive they have is just sort of their, well, I don't know, I'm not a writer, but I would imagine their desire to write and the feedback from readers. So, I know, it was a random tangent. I suppose either you totally get that or you're like, what? But yeah, so that's yeah. That, as far as reading, that's where I'm at. As far as what I'm watching, I guess this is where I have more to say. I have been more into watching shows lately, and that's kind of been my background noise of choice while I've been crafting. So I ended up watching, I think I probably would have talked about this in last week's WIP and Chat, 'cause I think I started it last weekend. But I ended up watching the entire, like all 3 seasons of The Witcher on Netflix in like, I don't know, less than a week. And I was like, where's the line? 1, 2, okay, and 3 again. I'm still a little bit surprised that I did get through that series, given just some of it is a bit gratuitous. I highly recommend that if you were gonna try to pick up that series, that you read some serious trigger warnings for sure. I did kind of do a Google search after I finish it, just out of curiosity, and was like, how does The Witcher compare to Game of Thrones in terms of gratuity and like with, violence and other sorts of things? And it was like, oh no, Game of Thrones is worse. But still, highly recommend, just proceed with caution. But I am a really big sucker for the found family trope, and that show had it in spades. So I think that was a big part of it, of one of the reasons. Hold on a second. Something is wrong. I see what's happening. Okay, hold on a second. Let me make sure I have this right. So then this goes here, and then this goes here. This one I've got like black and blue, 2 colors that these 2 are really similar in color to each other, so I'm having a hard time keeping up in the right spot. Okay, then that. Okay. Anyway, so I love the found family trope, and I just thought that Henry Cavill's acting was so incredible. So good. I couldn't put it down. I think my favorite season was the 2nd season. Yeah, I would say the 2nd season. I really enjoyed it a lot. And so then I finished that series and then decided to pick up a show that has been highly recommended to me by multiple people, including like my husband had watched it before I did, but Queen Charlotte on Netflix, the one that's kind of a Bridgerton, they call it a Bridgerton story. It's a spin-off. I don't know if this is really the right word, but it's just sort of a story within that verse. And excuse me, no one told me how much that show was going to make me just cry. I like sobbed my way through the last few minutes of the last episode. I was just like, oh my gosh. So bring tissues. But I watched that in a day and a half. Look, I guess I was just on a roll with these Netflix original series, I guess. But yeah, no, I was just, I guess, very much in a mode where I really wanted to watch shows. But I finished that, and now I'm kind of twiddling my thumbs like, okay, what do I feel like doing now? Do I want to pick up Iron Flame? Do I want to find another show? I don't know. I don't know what I want. So it's that like that joke that I made in last week's WIP and Chat where it was like, where's the dopamine? Shaking the things, like, where is it? Where's the thing that's gonna bring me joy? I can't find it. Help. So I don't know, you guys. I'll report back next week. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Then what I ended up doing, because I ran out of, I finished Queen Charlotte. You know what I ended up doing? I ended up going back and watching some of the earliest videos on my channel. I don't know why, but I just did. And out of curiosity, I listened to some of the very first WIP and Chats I did on my channel, which was 3 years ago. Yeah, end of 2020. And it was like, I basically almost did just one WIP and Chat a month for a little while, because I was just, it took me a long time to even come around to like, is YouTube really something that like I want to do? Is this something I want to be putting time into? Is this sort of a crowd that like I vibe with? Is there even a space for me here? Because I don't know. It felt at the time like a lot of the creators then were like, a lot of them were like really good friends with each other, and I wasn't sure that I really had a place. And I just kind of thought, well, I don't know. I guess like I'm gonna try to sort of figure out how this whole YouTube thing works, and I'll put out reviews or unboxings if I feel like they're helpful or unique or something. And like, I don't even know how it evolved to being this sort of more regular thing, but here we are. But yeah, going back and watching and listening to, I wasn't really watching, those old WIP and Chats. And it's funny because I thought, oh, I find myself sort of saying similar things then, just sort of things about my approach to diamond painting and to people. And I don't know why I thought like, oh, maybe that won't necessarily be the same. Like maybe that'll have evolved. And there are some things that I listened to and I was like, oh, like that's how I was thinking and feeling, 3 years ago. But a lot of it, I was like, oh, wow. Okay. No, like a lot of this stuff really has been just sort of my MO and my approach and just who I am from day one. And so that was like kind of cool. It's always a little bit cringy when you go back and watch like old videos, especially like 3 years ago. And I go, ooh, why did I talk like that? I wonder if I'm still doing YouTube 3 years from now, if I'll look back and go at a video like this and go, oh gosh, that's so cringy. Ooh, that reminds me of something that I really, really enjoyed reading in this was in the Time magazine article about Taylor Swift getting chosen as their person of the year. Yes, I read the article. Yes, I think that she legitimately deserved it. Like, regardless of whether you feel like she's a talented singer or whatever, like you can't really deny the impact that she's having on so many different facets of the world. And, so much of it like for the better. Anyway, so I was reading that and I'm trying to remember the quote. I'm afraid I'm going to misremember it, but it said something along the lines of, do not kill the part of you that is cringe, kill the part of you that cringes. And it was just this sort of idea that's like, you don't have to think of yourself and what you love and what you enjoy as cringy. It's like, no, just embrace who you are and what you love. And there was just something about that message. I think I'm wording it wrong. I think maybe I didn't get it quite right. That I loved, and I thought that's such a valuable message for people really of like any age, for young girls and for, adult women, men, whoever. I really liked that message. And so I'm just sort of trying to embrace that about myself a little bit more and go like, okay, I don't have to think about how cringy I might have been when I was doing videos and starting out 3 years ago. Like, it's okay. Was I enjoying what I was doing? Did I feel like I was, bringing a positive impact to the people around me? Then like, that's what I should focus on instead. So I encourage you guys to do the same. And thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Anyway, you guys, we are coming up on the hour mark. As far as what I've got in mind for this week, I have filmed a post-review video that will probably go up this week. I think I'm going to do a big haul video from my Black Friday and Cyber Monday purchases from Diamond Art Club. I put up a poll actually in my Patreon, which I do have a Patreon if you are interested for some like fun behind the scenes perks and stuff. It's like a subscription service that you can of course cancel anytime, but I do fun things like weekly vlogs, and I do like monthly live streams for certain tiers. And I also have them, I try to give them opportunities to help me sort of decide on my content and what it looks like. And so I actually put up a poll in there and said, help me decide, would you guys rather see like one big like giant haul of adventure of a haul video with all of the like 10 kits that I bought from Black Friday and Cyber Monday, or would you rather see individual videos? And by far the vote was, one big haul video. So I might try to do that this week. That's going to be a little bit of an undertaking to do all at once. It might be easier in some ways doing it as a big haul video as opposed to individual ones, but I might try to do that this week, like I said, but we'll see. I don't know what the mail is going to do as far as if I'm going to have any Diamond Art Club sneak peeks get in on time this week, or if they're going to be late. I know last week's is shipped, but I don't know when it's going to get here. And yeah, we'll kind of see. I feel like I'm about due for a small shop haul soon, but I think I'm going to wait on one more package to come in and then do kind of a holiday themed small shop haul, I think is what I'm going to end up doing. But you guys, we finished up this last color in this section, and we just kind of did some of the edges here. There's a lot of symmetry in this one, but oh, I missed a spot. Hold on, let me grab that last one. Actually, there's a little one that fell out over here. Perfect. So anyway, you guys, thanks for spending some time with me today. If you made it all the way to the end, how about an emoji that has green in it, because we have the God of Mischief, whose signature color is, of course, green. We didn't have any in this section, but, you know, his color is green. So, you guys, I hope that you have an absolutely wonderful rest of your week. Let me know in the comments what you are working on, how you are doing. I always love reading your comments. And like I said, I hope you have a day and a week that's as wonderful as you are. And I'll chat with you in the next one. Bye.